Oh, ow. Hey, everyone. It is Black and White with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. I just banged my elbow bad. Lana should be here any minute. Thank you for joining if you are. It is, what do we got? 7 o'clock. And as you can see, I'm wearing my Boston Celtics t-shirt. And this show, we're going to kind of move it along as quickly as we can tonight because we have Game 5 of the NBA playoffs. And if you've been around long enough, you know that when Celtics playoff games are on, everything else is secondary. So we're going to kind of move this show along as quickly as we can. But like I said, Lana should be joining me here anytime. Let me just see if 1 second. Let me check something here. Okay. All right. Yes, she should be joining me, but maybe I'm sure a lot of you have seen what is going on in the news right now. The sentiment of a lot of people who are not MAGA people are it's not good. And there's a lot of people out there who are very nervous about the future of our country. And they really should be, because what we're seeing is unprecedented. There are things that are happening right now that I never, ever thought that I would see in the history of this country. And again, listen, if we have different sides and different beliefs on policy and how the country should be run. And had a normal Republican won the presidency, I would not have been as happy, but I would not have feared that our country would be going down the road that it's going down now. And what we're seeing now, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you voted for. You should not be rooting for this. You should not be cheering for it. You should not be celebrating it, because it is dangerous. This is the most dangerous government I have ever seen. And this government will dominate all other governments of the danger that it presents. And there is Lana Quest in the house. Hi, Lana.
How are you? Sorry I'm late.
No, it's okay. I was just kind of going through the thing. I was letting them know, and Lana obviously concurs that it is Celtic playoff night. It's a closeout game. So
Yes.
we're going to be in and out as quickly as we can tonight.
Yes.
So we can catch the game that starts at 8:30 p.m., which I don't know why it started at 8:30. I'm kind of glad so we could sneak the show in and then get to the game. But Lana, how are you? I was just basically telling
I need a mic. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine, but
fine. I
you don't have your mic?
No, again, I lost track of time. So
that's okay. Like I said, I mean, this will probably be one of our quickest shows, but I was just basically telling them that didn't matter who you voted for. If we were in normal times and a normal Republican, hey, baby Jay, good to see you. If we were in normal times, Lana, if a regular Republican won, we probably wouldn't be happy just because they wouldn't be going along with the policies, but we wouldn't be scared about the future of our country. And we're looking now at really the most tyrannical government. And if they really want to, can be the most dangerous and authoritarian government in the history of the world if they really want to. And they're step by step getting there. And it's getting scary, man, getting really scary.
Yeah, I feel bad for the young people, not like the teenagers, the kids in high school right now and going into college. Like, what's that going to look like?
It's going to be controlled. I mean, everything's going to be controlled. They're trying to control colleges. They're trying to control the media. They're trying to control literally everything. And they have an army of idiots that are behind them that are cheering this. But again, you and I've talked about this a million times. I don't know how many times we could talk about this, but they're cheering something that's going to be to their ultimate demise. And it is just so hard to deal with. And
ignore them, Brian. Like we just really, what are you going to do? Again, because we do talk about this. There's the hardcore MAGA. Then there are people who realize, like, shit, I made a mistake. I thought like he was going to be better for the economy. I know him. He was a business. It's different. Like the MAGA, they don't friggin' care. This woman called me a dumbass because I literally wrote Donald Trump denied extending FEMA for North Carolina. Like, that's the tweet. You know what I mean? Like, he scared people. Basically, I was like, he went into North Carolina when Biden was the president, scared people so they wouldn't take FEMA.
Right.
Had them shooting at FEMA workers. Now they're still rebuilding, and he won't extend it so that they continue to build, and those fuckers voted for him. And she called me a dumbass, and it's like, dumbass where? Like, which part are you upset about, lady? Like, what? And she wasn't a bot, right? Like an actual 6,000 but that there's he's in Michigan right now, and I saw some of it, and he's telling them how good the economy is and how he's going to put money in their pockets and how Democrats want to raise their taxes by 58%. And they're just cheering. And I'm like, you fucking dumb fucks. The stock market is down the lowest since what, Nixon, they're saying? Like, where are y'all living?
So are his approval ratings. And do you see that he wants to investigate how they do polls? They want to do all this stuff so he can control now the polls.
Right.
Because it might be possible that the poll numbers may even be lower than what they're actually saying. But this is scary stuff. And the first clip I'm going to play here, and it's hard to even sit through these clips anymore, Lana, because when you hear these people speak, it's just you have the rage inside of you of how horrible and evil that these people are. Recently, there was a judge named Hannah Dugan that was arrested because she apparently let somebody go out the back door when some federal agents were looking to arrest him and took him out. So this administration just said, nope, we're not doing that. Now they're arresting judges. I mean, again, this is not normal governments. This is not what normal governments do. This is what authoritarian governments do, what fascist governments do. And Tom Homan gets up at the press briefing and, of course, did his best professional wrestler imitation and had this to say about the judge and anybody else who thinks they're going to go against what this government tells them is going to happen.
If I can also answer your question, as far as the judges, look, we just arrested a judge, Pam Bondi, for impeding ICE enforcement removals. I said from day one, you don't have to support ICE's operations. You can support sanctuary cities if that's what you desire to do. Sanctuary cities can stand aside and watch ICE keep their communities safe, because any public official, whether you're mayor, city councilman, or governor, their number one responsibility is protection of communities. And ICE has been clear, we're targeting public safety threats and national security threats. I can't believe there's any elected official, and especially a judge, that doesn't believe we should be doing that, and they should be helping us. But I said from day one, you can sit aside and watch, you can argue against us all you want and protest all you want, but when you cross that line, and I've said this 1,000 times, when you cross that line to impediment or knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien from ICE, you will be prosecuted, judge or not. And as far as releasing so many people, you know why the Biden administration released millions of people in the United States? No one ever talks about it. I'll talk about it. Why did they release people into the interior of the United States and put them, rather than put them into an ice bed? Why not put them in an empty ice bed, $127 a night, rather than in a hotel room at $500 a night?
First of all, nobody's put up in $500 a night hotels. They're put up in the cheapest hotels, and some of them were moved to like CVS's that were empty. This was not $500 hotels. And again, I've had these discussions with people, and they are absolutely convinced. I had somebody tell me the other day that they get free housing and free cars. And it is just so absurdly ridiculous. And I'm kind of glad that these people tell me this, because it forces me to do more research over and over and over again. The immigrants that get any kind of funding, first of all, none of it goes directly to them. It goes to like nonprofit organizations that then distribute for anybody that needs any kind of money. You have some of these sanctuary cities, or you have states that say, we are willing to do some kind of help. And if they are in hotel rooms, that the longest that they may be in them is about 72 hours. So it's not like they're living like kings and queens coming over here, and we're giving our tax dollars to these people when we're leaving veterans on the streets. And that's what they'll make you believe. But
so much to unpack. So back to the judge. One thing that this administration does is lie. This over and over and over again, right? DA and I were talking about this today, because whenever they arrest someone or deport someone, they like contradict themselves. So like what they put down in paper is totally different from what they come out and speak about. So with the judge, the charging papers had the truth, right? What they say on TV did not. One, she wasn't indicted, right? So they didn't go to a grand jury to arrest this judge, because they didn't have anything. So they couldn't do that. So they went to one of their buddy judges to sign a warrant. One. Two, only 2 doors to the courthouse. There's only 2 doors there that this guy could go out of, right? The door he went out into a hallway, not out into a parking lot. Run, Forrest, run. No, went to the hallway where ICE agents were that could have arrested him there, right? Because this is in the administration's complaint, said that they saw him in the hallway. We're in the hallway with him. Rode an elevator with him. Didn't arrest him until they went outside. So what part did she obstruct?
Yeah.
Right? She just let him out of the courtroom because it's a fucking courtroom, right? Like, we're not doing this here. Go out into the hallway. And that's exactly what she did. But when you hear them talk, it's like she, hit him in the cloakroom and like drove him.
It was like a secret thing with the bailiff and said, hey, take him out the back door, sneak him out, put him in the car, and drive away quickly.
Exactly. Like, that's just the bullshit of it all. And lies, just lies. Christy Norman, this is the white man stole my purse, and now it's the 2 illegal immigrants stole my purse.
How convenient, right? I mean, give me a fucking break. First of all, I've never seen, well, I should take that back, because there's a lot of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene comes to mind, but the attention whores. And when I say attention whores, I'm not just saying it because they're women. I'm just saying it because that's a term. These Christy Nome is so infatuated with attention that she made up a story. I don't care what anybody says. She made up a story that money was stolen from her purse and that was illegal immigrants.
Absolutely. We have to remember, they lie. 2, Donald Trump likes production. They all do.
Yep.
So,
theater.
Right. Theater. Right. So for us to stop talking about the economy, he's got to manufacture other things, right? So like, and that's what he does. I got shot in my ear. This, like, it's weirdly odd, right? It just doesn't make sense. Like, what happened to the guy that did it? Like, where is he? Where
No
is
talk
this
about
guy
it.
in Florida? Like, no one's talking about it. We've never seen medical records. Strange. Same thing with this Christy Nome thing. She's in a restaurant celebrating with her family, and nobody saw the illegal immigrants with the masks on in the other table. Like DA was saying today, like, how the fuck were they eating if they had masks on? That
Right.
was strange to her and her
Right.
position. Where was her security? None of them. They walked out. I bet she has a big ass fucking purse. So they just took her fucking purse. Like, I'm not saying that illegal immigrants don't commit crime.
Mhm.
Not what I am saying. But the majority of them want to lay low, right?
Yep.
You do have some that are members of the gang, which would not be in this fucking restaurant and stealing her fucking purse. So
Correct.
that's that part. Like, what restaurant was this? IHOP? Where was she eating that these illegal immigrants just happened to be eating there? Because I would think that she's at a posh restaurant. Like, I would not think she's at some Waffle House, right? Like, I literally would think if she's got $3,000 in cash, she must be at some nice restaurants. So the illegal immigrants are just hanging out there, and they just said, "Let me take her purse that's with her whole fucking family and generate." Like, it don't even smell right. Like, that's stupid. It's
Lana, but you know who the most to blame is here? Do you think they'd ever be able to get away with this if there were not human beings that were susceptible enough to believe this nonsense with zero proof?
true. Right.
That's who I blame. I mean, you have way too many people who listen to it and go, facts.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. I just showed you that it wasn't facts. Oh, where did you get that from? CNN? I'm like, well, no, I didn't get it from CNN. I could pull it up from 20 different sources if you want me to, and then they'll just deny every one of those sources. And then you ask them, okay, what source do you want me to go to prove me wrong? And they have no answer. It's so, I don't know, man. It's getting bad. But speaking of getting bad, now we're allowing, this is just this whole authoritarian government that we're allowing these most unqualified morons in the press briefing room to ask questions. And here's how one of these idiots and very just cruel person states how she starts off her question with this other idiot, Caroline Levitt.
Presidency in American history. So with that, let's kick it off, and I'm happy to take your question first, Aaron.
Thanks so much, Caroline, both for having us and for granting me the first question here.
Sure.
And I can attest to the deportations in Florida. My Uber drivers finally speak English again, so thank you for that. But my question for you is,
Sean Spicer's laughing it up.
For those who continue to defy the executive orders, most notably on my mind are the ones related to what some would call trans men.
I got news. You know what? I don't even give a fuck what they have to say after that. But
God, like, wow.
That's first of all, that's not on a podcast. That's not on a TV show. That is in the White House press briefing room where a woman started off her question with like, "Thank you, President Trump. My Uber driver speaks English now." How fucking awful are these people?
It's disgusting. It's just disgusting. They're just like open about it. Like, I used to say this all the time. Like, I think the first administration, Trump made racism cool again.
Yeah.
Like, he made it cool again. It's cool to be racist and cruel. That is cool. Before, racists used to hide. They knew that they couldn't say certain things. Now they're like, I don't give a fuck.
No, you know, I said Joe Rogan, and this is a word I'll never use, but I'm just repeating what Joe Rogan says. He says that one of the greatest things because Donald Trump won is that now they could say the word retard again. And that's just like a big deal for that. It's just so stupid, man. These people are just awful, horrible people. And again, I bring this up numerous times. These are the same people who want to praise Jesus and go to church on Sunday. And I'm like, man, guys, I promise you, if Jesus came down here, I don't think personally he would be on your side. I would have to question at this point, if Jesus came back and ran for president against Trump, who do you think they'd vote for?
Trump.
Yeah, I think they would. They'd be like, wait a minute. They'd be pissed off when Jesus started talking about free healthcare and welcoming immigrants.
Right.
And things like that. Be like, oh, wait,
Jesus.
Yeah. They're like, wait, you're not the Jesus that I thought I read about in the Bible, that I was told in my crazy batshit fucking nutty church. But speaking, we were talking about this earlier. They're looking now to control the media. I sent this clip to you the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but this was the end of 60 Minutes the other day. And this is extremely concerning. The executive producer of 60 Minutes quit the show because he knows what is coming. Apparently, Paramount is looking to do some kind of merger. This needs to be approved by the administration. And because the administration is involved, that means there's certainly going to be some kind of quid pro quo here, and the executive producer wasn't having it. This is how Scott Pelley described the exit of the executive producer at the end of 60 Minutes the other night, and this is very concerning.
A note on Bill Owens, who until this past week was executive producer of 60 Minutes. He was our boss. Bill was with CBS News nearly 40 years. 26 years at 60 Minutes. He covered the world, covered combat, the White House. His was a quest to open minds, not close them. If you've ever worked hard for a boss because you admired him, then you understand what we've enjoyed here. Bill resigned Tuesday. It was hard on him and hard on us, but he did it for us and you. Stories we pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it, but in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes all along.
You know, professional journalism is one of the greatest institutions that this country has ever seen. They have done things that sometimes even the professional departments of justice cannot do. They will go to the ends of the earth to get to the bottom of any story that could have any effect on the American people, regardless of party. They don't give a shit. They will go and do the investigation almost better than any investigator can do it. And journalists like 60 Minutes and other journalists around the country, independent journalists, they are heroes in this country and should be looked upon as heroes in this country. But now our journalists, Lana, are Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz and idiots like this, where people are going to get their political news from, even though these are not political journalists. They probably couldn't even spell politics. And it's very sad that the 60 Minutes of the world is not even being drowned out. They are being choked out until they are absolutely no longer alive. And this is scary, scary shit. And there needs to be done something about it. You know, I was thinking on the way home, Lana, I think the Democrats need to start writing up. They need to start writing up a 900-page document of Project 2026 or at least Project 2028. They need to come up with their own sort of project and spell out for the American people, this is why this is bad. This is what we're going to do about it. And here are the better things for you in this country and how we're going to do it, and get out there and continue to talk about it over and over and over again. I still see this party still doing this kind of infighting. You see this David Hogg guy going in and trying to mix things up with the Democratic Party, which part of it I get. But again, the right is on message constantly. They do not get off message. We get off message way too much. We're too frazzled. And if we continue down this path, they're just going to keep bullying forward, and there's not going to be anything that we can do about it.
So I used to agree with that prior to the election, but I'm going to give them some time because it's only 100 days. You're not going to find a new leader in 100 days for the Democratic Party. Like, you're just not. It is going to take some time. I don't know if this is infighting. I just feel like I've never liked David Hogue or whatever, Hogg, however you say his name. Like, I don't like it. And I don't like what he brings. That he is problematic to me.
Yeah.
So like, that's a problem. And I think we were talking about it, like, what's his name needs to just put his foot down and stop it so that can't be a distraction, which I don't even know if it's really a distraction because not too many people are talking about it. I think there was a misstep. So like, I give them some time to pull it together because we also don't. It's funny. Donald Trump is ruining the government in this 100 days. Like, the economy is shit. His supporters are like, well, we're still going to give him some time, right? We're like, I get there. So I think we're going to get there. Like, I really think we're doing what we need to do. You got AOC, you got Bernie, you got Hakeem and Cory Booker stepping up. Like, so they're doing the things, right? Because
Jasmine Crockett.
Right. There's only so much we can do, right? We're not going to pass any bills, right? We can't. There's things we can't do. The only thing that we can do is do things that say, hey, look over here, right? Like, that's all we can do at this point. What I did not like that did happen, and I'm like, did he have to ask anyone to do this? Whatever the fuck that guy's name that drew up those impeachment papers.
She or something. It was something like that.
Yeah, it's like, why did you do that? Like, that's why Democrats didn't talk about it, because they're like, we're staying away from this. That's a distraction. Because guess what Donald Trump did when I was listening to him in Michigan? I don't know who this lawmaker is. Did you hear about him? His name is Shah or somebody. He wants to impeach me. They want to impeach me again. Democrats don't have no leader. They still try, right? So he's using that as fuel once again, and it's like, he is not going to be impeached. Why the fuck are you doing that? Like, that's just a waste of paper. Why did you do that to paper? Why did you do that?
Well, I think it's certainly a waste of paper if you know you don't have the votes. That's certainly number one. But and that may be just an attention getting, because sometimes people like to get attention, but
it gives him that.
But I did hear somebody say that, and it was, I can't remember who it was, and it sucks, but it was somebody that I trust that knows government, and said that if they somehow can impeach him, even if they don't get the conviction, that means something. And it means holding him up, being able to do some of the things that he's able to do because he's too tied up in the impeachment stuff. And again, I'm not even going to pretend to know the more ins about it. I did hear somebody say it, and I'd have to maybe go back and see exactly what But
you need votes.
Well, you need, but what they're saying is because they're so close in the House that all they need is
they're not going to get one.
Well, I agree. But what I'm saying is, if they could find a way to get a couple of the people in the House, then do it. And they were saying how it would be beneficial. And I apologize. I don't remember how they said how it would be beneficial. But
I think it's bad. I think it's a bad idea. Like, it's just too many directions. There's too many directions. We have to focus on the elections that are coming and getting a leader. How are we talking about impeachment, whatever, even if it could, when we're still trying to work on like who our leader is going to be, like what's going on here? Like, why would we introduce this when we're not completely on same pages and with the same talking points yet? Like, I don't know. That just It seems like you're doing too much. Sometimes when you're doing too much, it's all you're doing is helping him get attention away from what the fuck we should be talking about, which is fucking tariffs and the economy.
Well, that I agree, and that's what they need to strategize on is what they need to do better to help win 2026. I will be honest too, I am still freaked out, and I think it is a legitimate freak out that they are going to find a way to make sure that they do not lose the 2026 elections. How they're going to do it? They're strategizing it. I can absolutely promise you that. They are not just going to sit back and wait to see what happens. That's not happening. Right. They are going to put in as many loopholes. They're going to put in as many laws as they possibly can to make sure that they do not lose the House. They do not lose the Senate in 2026. And I hope that the Democrats prepare themselves for that, because unfortunately the worst thing that I can say about the Democrats is they never prepared for the worst. They always hoped for the best. Yeah. That was it. You hope for the best, but they did not prepare for the worst. And that's why we're at where we're at. And there's a good possibility in my lifetime, in your lifetime, we may never escape this unless there is an uprising like we've never seen before. And there is a gentleman, Lana, the governor of Illinois, named J.B. Pritzker, which every time I hear this man talk, I get excited. I like this guy. I like him a lot. Mm-hmm. And he had looked like some sort of rally or speech the other day, and he had a couple things to say. Let's play this first clip.
For us to be done with optimism about...
Hold on. Let's remove Scott Pelley. All right.
Or their objectives. Time to stop wondering if you can trust the nuclear codes to people who don't know how to organize a group chat. It's time to stop ignoring the hypocrisy and wearing a big gold cross while announcing the defunding of children's cancer.
Right.
And time to stop thinking that we can reason or negotiate with a madman. Time to stop apologizing when we were not wrong. Time to stop surrendering when we need to fight. Our small businesses don't deserve to be bankrupted by unsustainable tariffs. Our retirees don't deserve to be left destitute by a Social Security Administration decimated by Elon Musk. Our citizens don't deserve to lose health care coverage because Republicans want to hand a tax cut to billionaires. Our federal workers don't deserve to have a 19-year-old Doge bro called Big Balls destroy their careers. Autistic kids and adults who are loving contributors to our society don't deserve to be stigmatized by a weird Nepo baby who once stashed a dead bear in the backseat of his car. Our military service members don't deserve to be told by a washed-up Fox TV commentator who drank too much and committed sexual assault before being appointed Secretary of Defense that they can't serve their country simply because they're black or gay or a woman.
That was him, Lana, and one second. And then he finished up with this.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
I mean, that's the kind of language they need to use. Although the one thing that I think I would change from now on, Lana, this is just me personally, tell me what you think, but he said these Republicans. I think they should start using the language by separating Republicans from MAGA. So the actual Republicans who do not like this nonsense feel like they have a partner on how we can defeat this ridiculousness. It doesn't mean you have to agree with our policies, but you can now start maybe agreeing with how we need to go about getting rid of the most dangerous government in the history of the world, and it possibly could be.
Right. Us against MAGA.
Yep. Yeah.
Everyone against MAGA.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. Finally, Lana, last couple clips because we have Celtics game tonight. So I told you it's going to be a shorter show.
Celtics.
Let's go Celtics. One more game and we move to the
That's right. Round. Let's finish it.
Yeah, let's finish it out. I mean, come on. What are we doing? What are you drinking there?
Coffee. Iced coffee.
Oh, all right. Is there anything in it? All right. Just coffee. All right.
Yeah. Don't worry.
So we talk about moving forward, and some people didn't like it. I particularly did. Pete Buttigieg recently was on the Andrew Schultz podcast, and there was some people saying, I don't know why he would go on a podcast where you're platforming people who've said misogynistic things and racist things. And you know me, Lana, as long as you've known me, I've always said, you got to cut the head off the snake. And the way to do that is to be in front of them. Now, I've seen Gavin Newsom sit down with Charlie Kirk and with Steve Bannon, and I didn't particularly like that. I like Gavin Newsom, but I don't like the chummy side of it, like we're going to be pals. Right. And Pete Buttigieg just has a likable thing about him. So you may think, you know, hey, we're pals here. But the way he went in, and it is the only time that I ever watched, this was almost 3 hours. And I watched it in increments. I didn't watch it the whole 3 hours at one time, but I watched the entire interview because this is exactly what I've said that they need to do. They need to sit down in front of these people and cut off the disinformation and misinformation. And it's not just to cut off them. So their listeners start to understand that what they're saying is not true. And they're voting based on what Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan are saying. And Pete Buttigieg did a master class, Lana, with them. I'm going to play this clip, and this goes to the heart of everything I've been saying. Pete Buttigieg had to explain to them that dead people were not receiving Social Security money by the millions. And the most shocking and frustrating thing about this clip, Lana, is they were shocked. They were like, wow, really? And that's what concerns me so much. So let's watch this clip on it, and then we'll talk about it.
Right now, again, the dose they make it sound like there's like millions of dead people getting Social Security.
Exactly.
We're just not. That's just not true.
So how many are there dead people? That's because this seemed to me fact.
Well, first of all, like
Biden can get it.
Look, I mean, one thing to think about is like, obviously the vast majority of people who die of old age are getting Social Security the day they die, right? So like for at least a minute or a week or a month or however long it takes, right? There's that process of updating. But part of it had to do with how the database was built. And you just didn't necessarily like remove everybody from the database. It didn't mean they were getting money, but it meant they were in the database. And so you could twist that into looking like this is what the president did in his speech. Like, it's true there's this database that had all these people from like, 100 years ago. It was not true that they were getting checks, okay?
Wow.
But he said the one part. That's good. And your brain fills in the blanks. And now you think, oh, shit, there's like millions of people who are 150 years old getting checks, which is not true.
Number one, Lana, it's disgusting.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? How are they getting checks anyway? Like, what? The bank accounts? Where? Like, as we've learned, once you're dead, everything's gone. Right. You have no bank account. You have no credit score. Everything is done.
Yeah.
Once you're considered dead. So if a check was generated, where the fuck did it generate to? Like, where did it go?
But Lana, did you hear the guy in the beginning who's like, I thought that was true. Like, it sounded true to me. And you're like,
it's facts.
Dudes, like, come on, man. A minimum 8th grade education should be able to tell you that something sounds off here and I need to investigate this a little bit more. But this is what happens. We have a gigantic segment of this country that takes everything they say as gospel and that it's true. And then they go out and vote in the dumbest, biggest liar in the history of this country that's eventually going to wind up hurting them. And I just can't, for the life of me, understand. I don't get it. Lana, this is frustrating. Very frustrating.
And they just cheer for it.
They do.
Yeah,
Well,
tariff.
Yeah, tariffs. And, oh my God. Everybody thinks they're a tariff expert now. Nobody was talking tariffs 5 months ago. Now everybody's talking about why tariffs fucking work. Holy shit, I can't stand people. All right, this last clip, Lana. This is similar to what I was talking about. This is somebody that I have mentally divorced a long time ago, and this was Bill Maher. Bill Maher is somebody that I used to watch constantly. I went to go see him in concert. I saw him 5 times live. I was a huge Bill Maher fan when he was normal, but he decided to jump on that woke train. And, if you do it once, you do it twice. I'm like, all right. But literally every fucking show, I was like, okay, I see exactly where this is going. I am out. This is the same asshole who railed on Donald Trump. Oh, shit, I wish I had the clip. There was a clip going around online from 2018 when Geraldo Rivera was on Bill Maher's show, and he was talking about this is Geraldo talking. We were on The Apprentice together. He's a good friend of mine. And Bill was just railing on him, saying he wants to be a fascist. He wants to do this, and you want to be friends with him. And now all of a sudden he's sitting with him at the White House. Right. So that's why I have no respect for Bill Maher. But again, this plays into what I was just showing you with Charlie Kirk. With Pete Buttigieg, he's sitting down with Charlie Kirk, another huge voice for the right. I mean, a monster voice. He's the one that has that whole Turning Point convention that all these right-wing idiots go out to. And Bill Maher had to correct him about something that Donald Trump said in the State of the Union address. This clip's a little wonky. I think the voice doesn't match the clip, but you'll get the gist of it.
Though, is this woke stuff that would take your breath away? I mean, research into transgender mice. I mean, it was just the U.S. taxpayer dollars were funding that.
See, I called that out on my show. That was bullshit. It wasn't transgender. See, that worries me about you, Charlie. You seem to have swallowed that one whole like a snake does a mouse without looking into it. It was transgenic mice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was not, but it's hugely different. Transgender, that's just going along with what the mob thinks. It wasn't. He got it wrong, and no one was around to tell him that he got it wrong. He just went with it. Transgender. It wasn't transgender. It was transgenic. They were studying mice for health reasons, serious cancer-solving reasons. Nothing to do with transgender. So
I stand corrected on that.
Okay.
This is why that's why Donald Trump won this election. I'll say it till the fucking day I'm dying. This is Yep, because all these people say this shit, and if you think that's a one-off for Charlie Kirk, if you think that's a one-off for those idiots on the Andrew Schultz panel, it's not. It is constant, and this is where people listen to politics, and then they go, well, I guess it's cool to vote, and then they go and vote based on what Andrew Schultz, Joe Rogan, Charlie Kirk said.
Thinking like, oh, we are paying for transgender mice, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like how we just talked about. It's like, if it sounds crazy, look it up to confirm it. Like, I didn't know when Trump said that shit about condoms going to Gaza to make bombs.
Yep.
Alarm bells was like, what the fuck? That sounds crazy.
Yep.
But then the second thing was like, let me look this up before I talk about it.
100%.
So I don't sound like a clown. And to make sure that that actually is not happening, because who knows? It sounds crazy, but who knows? Come to find out, no, that's not what it was. Like, what the fuck?
Well, it's funny you say that story is it initially came out from Elon Musk that they were sending condoms to Gaza. It was like $50 million in condoms, which, by the way, cost the U.S. government 50 cents per condom. So that means 100 million condoms were going to Gaza, which obviously was not true. There may have been a budget for a certain amount of condoms to go out at times, but it wasn't the Gaza they were talking about. It was a province in Africa that was infested with the AIDS disease, and that's where it went. And then you have on Fox News, Jesse Waters claiming that they were using those condoms to send down the river to make bombs. This is incredible that this is where people are getting their news.
Yeah, everyone ran with it. And that's now the new talking point.
Unbelievable. And then some reporter finally called out Elon Musk. He was like, well, we're going to get some things wrong and we'll correct them when we need to. He didn't correct that story until he was called out by the reporter. They have no intentions on correcting stories if they're not called out on them. They use these innuendos and flat out lies and disinformation and misinformation against the dumbest fucking people who vote. And I don't care. I'm done. I'm done with these fucking people. If you don't want to, you keep talking about personal responsibility. Take personal responsibility in your life and stop being a fucking moron. I'm so tired of people shaping the American policy now because they're not smart enough to understand that these people are clowning them. That just irritates the shit out of me, Lana. Can't handle it. I just can't take it. Can't take it.
No, but I get it. Like, you're right. That's a good point. It's like they are, like, in essence, making the policy, right? Because they're electing these people that are making policy or fucking executive orders, but based on like fucking lies, shit that they don't even know. Like, they think like windmills cause cancer and vaccines cause autism and Gaza is making bombs with condoms and we're spending money on transgender mice and children are using the bathroom in litter boxes. Like, these are the people that are voting in our elected officials who are as dumb as they are.
Yeah. You know, if you notice, a lot of them are using this language now. They've changed it. You don't hear mainstream media anymore. You hear legacy media. And, you know, I think part of that is because I think they know Fox News is basically mainstream media now. So they're using legacy media. And basically what they're trying to do is discredit all the actual journalists that are telling you the truth. And you should be listening to these independent journalists like on Twitter or Charlie Kirk or, you know, Steve Bannon. These are the people who are telling you the actual truth. And unfortunately, that shift has been made. And I don't know how you turn it back to real journalists who are telling you the truth. The only way I think that we can do it, and Alana has said this before in the past, is they have to feel the actual pain to maybe start opening up their eyes and saying, I don't know, maybe those evil people on the left who kept trying to tell us that something bad was going to happen, maybe they were right. And we might have to start looking into that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about this. Like, we knew that there were going to be sacrificial lambs. Right?
Yeah.
Sacrificial lambs. Kilmar Agrego, sacrificial lamb.
Yep.
The children that have been deported that are Americans, sacrificial lambs. Like,
the judge arrested.
The judge arrested. Like, there were going to be sacrificial lambs. Some are going to be jailed. Some are going to die. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen in front of the public.
Yep.
That child that they deported with cancer, that's just like, this is who America is. It's fucking embarrassing.
I mean, that's got to be the definition of evil, right?
Yeah, like Trump and we're what? Y'all claim to be Christians? Like, how is that okay? They're American citizens, and then we listen to them try to twist themselves in fucking knots to say, like, the mother wanted the child, no, she did not. She wanted her kid to stay here and have cancer treatments. Like, that's what the fuck she wanted. Like, it's just really disgusting. It's really bad where we are. And then you have people like, well, if they're here illegally, that's the crime. Like, excuse me, that's not even who he says. He's taking people with visas, right? Like, and now I don't know if you've heard, now they're sending out fake letters to people saying, good news on your case, meet us at the immigration office.
Jesus.
Then they go down there and then they scoop them up and deport them. That's what they're doing now because they're trying to hit those numbers. And now, as we heard today, and you probably heard, they want to charge these people $1,000.
I didn't see that.
Yes. So I don't know which it is. $1,000 to get like some type of visa, $500 or $1,500 more dollars for something else, but they want to charge them. So it's a cost for asylum, a cost for visas. Like, they want them to pay thousands of dollars because supposedly this is money that they're going to use in their continued deportation process.
Yeah.
It's another graft. It's like the tariffs. Like, who's seeing that money if the companies are paying tariffs where and our prices are being raised? Where does that money, where does it go? To the government? What does he do with it?
No.
What's he doing with the money? We don't even know how the fucking money is being spent in the government.
There's also, did you see where Donald Trump is charging some of these top business people to have meetings with him? I think it's like $1 million for a group meeting, $5 million for a personal meeting. And that, I mean, man, we play this game all the time and it kind of is almost old. Could you imagine if Biden or Obama did that?
A sitting president is charging people for his time.
Right. Beyond the fact that he's charging for watches and sneakers and Bibles and green cards.
Tell me if Amazon requests a meeting and pays Donald Trump $1 million, where does that money go? Donald Trump?
That's exactly where it goes.
Because that means he's using the presidency to gain, because it's not a private meeting, because they wouldn't pay regular citizen Donald Trump $1 million to fucking go to Mar-a-Lago to sit with them, right? So you're using the presidency, but then you're pocketing the money, and nobody can do anything about it.
That's the reason why they do it, because they know we've already determined, what are you going to do about it? We've got the Supreme Court behind us. We've got the House. We've got the Senate. We've got the presidency. We are ignoring the Supreme fucking Court. We've already proven we can do whatever we want to, and you can't do anything about it. And sadly, you have people who voted for them cheering this, even though these were the same people saying that this is the kind of stuff that Biden and Kamala Harris was going to do to the country. And it's just so rich. And it's just like, these people can go fuck themselves. I keep hearing this, we need to find common ground bullshit. And I don't know how you find common ground with people who are so hateful and evil. I just don't see it. We can find common ground with the Republicans who are not down with this administration. That's who I can find common ground with. But finding common ground with these evil assholes, and brings me back to the point earlier where people were mad about Pete Buttigieg going on Andrew Schultz. Here's the thing. I think these people are just ignorant. They're not political at all. They just kind of know that it's something to talk about, and they talk about it based on the very limited knowledge that they have on it. And they go, well, what's cool? Trump is cool, so we're going to go on the Trump side and talk about it that way. These are ignorant morons. But if you have somebody like Pete Buttigieg, and you could bring in, I mean, there's a ton of people I've heard, and you tell me what you think, Lana. I heard somebody tell me that it's okay for Pete Buttigieg to go on it because he's a white male. But if Kamala Harris went on, Jasmine Crockett, that they don't think that they would get the same treatment from the Andrew Schultzes and the Joe Rogans of the world. My only pushback on that is I think Kamala Harris and Jasmine Crockett are charming enough to be able to charm those guys and to be able to speak intelligently enough for them to say, I get it. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but I also think like, who cares? Like, you just go on anyway. You're not going on to be like you said with Gavin Newsom, buddies with
Right.
him. I mean, Pete, white male, was able to chill and be more relaxed and say,
But let's not forget he's gay too.
right, but he doesn't come off gay. It's big difference. Big difference.
But you know what? Of course, like those guys, they're like fifth graders. They had to bring it up like 5 different times, so the audience knows. Right. And I'll let you get back to your point, but I don't know if you saw too on that show, after it was over, they showed online a lot of the comments in the comment section after that show. And they're like, man, I voted for Donald Trump, but Pete is awesome. I mean, they were just, every comment was nothing but positive about Pete coming from Trump supporters. They even mentioned, I don't give a shit if he's gay. If he's that good and he can talk like that, I would vote for him.
Right. He's not. It's the in your face, I think, with like Trump supporters. You know what I mean? Like, they just, if they don't know it, they good. Like, Pete's not flamboyant. Guarantee if Pete was flamboyant, they wouldn't have cared how he talked. They wouldn't have been able to listen to him if he came with his nails polished.
If he was like George Santos, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
They wouldn't have, it would have been a whole different ball game. But he comes on, he's in the military. He's a different kind of guy. So they can listen to him. He's definitely, I mean, Jasmine and Kamala could. It would have been more difficult for them because they wouldn't have gotten that ear. Like, those guys were really like enthralled. Like, they were like really listening and taking it all in, but nobody can do what Pete does. But I think they should go on shows like that. Like,
do you think that they would try to over satisfy their audience by digging a little bit more than they would if Donald Trump were sitting there? I think that's kind of the fear. But, I truly do believe, because when I just hear them talk, I always heard this thing, about Kamala Harris. She's very, very charming, and she could be very charming on these shows. If she went in there and kind of did that, and I don't mean it in a, not flirty way, but in that, just like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? That kind of like, come on, guys, like,
go have a beer. Like, seriously, go have a beer, sit down and chat and just be regular, be who you are, and stop trying to be the politician. And that becomes a problem. And that's why they have a problem with Jasmine. Jasmine just is who she is. Like, she
with no fucks given.
Right, exactly. She's not coming off as that scripted politician. You're not going to get that from coming out of her mouth, because that's just not who she is. She's a politician, but she ain't scripted.
Right.
Like, she is who she is. And I think they all should go on those shows. Whether
I do too.
It's do or die. You have to. Because
especially after you saw those comments about Pete Buttigieg underneath them, when you see those comments, that's the audience you're getting to. You're cutting the head off the snake. And now, not only, maybe you're not even cutting the head off the snake, you are now charming the snake. You are now the snake charmer. And you are the one that's controlling the narrative that they have shaped about you for years.
Exactly. And you got them now looking shit up, right? Because now they're going, oh, and he gave them the information. And then continued on like, this is how he did it. He left that piece out so that you think this, like, you know what I mean? Like, he gave you what was going on, but he left something really, really important out of that. That's why you thought that part. Like,
and the moronic reaction, like, oh, real? Wow, that was amazing. I never thought of it that way. And you're like,
and that's why they
not.
They have to go on those shows, because that's the only way to chip at his base, because you may be able to convince some of those hardcore MAGA base, because you just have to just chip in and let a little sunlight in, and maybe they'll be like, oh, that does make, like, they may, because again, Pete's so charming and he's good to look at. Like, you may get something from him.
Yeah. And Lana, not to mention, now is the time to do it because things are going to start going backwards on the American people and they're going to start feeling the pain.
Right.
And if they're feeling the pain and also hearing the correct message at the same time, that could be the perfect storm. But there needs to be more. Like I said, they need to come up with their own battle plan for 2026. As I was saying earlier, a project 2026 of their own and move forward because we cannot continue on this way. We just can't. It's going to be awful. So,
is we're not, because I know there's another guy, I can't remember the congressman's name. He goes on Fox as well. He may have been the one with Elmo when they were trying to get rid of PBS. One of those guys. I just can't remember his name. But he goes on Fox too. But we just don't know when they do these things. Like, I wouldn't have never known that Pete was on this show because how would anyone know that? No one's watching the show except for MAGA, right?
Yep.
So, like, I mean, it's good that MAGA saw him there, but other people, we don't know. So we always say, like, what are they doing? And we just don't know all of what they're doing because it's not being televised. Trump takes all of the all of it.
Yeah.
And nothing, it's hard for anything to get through. That's why it was good that Booker and team were on the stairs. So
well, they were broadcasting it live on all the social medias, so people knew. I also think too that even though I didn't know about Pete Buttigieg going on the show until there's enough outlets, though, like you could go on Twitter and there's going to be enough people showing you that look at what Pete Buttigieg did. So
which is a good thing. And then if everyone just took those things and then like put it on other social medias, like drop a clip on Facebook, drop clips on TikTok, like that's how we get it out there. So
well, I hope Pete's appearance on that show lit a fire under a lot of people and saying, hey, can I come on your show? Reach out to them if they're not reaching out to you and say, it looked like a great time. Do you mind if I come on your show? And, and you got to manipulate a little bit. You got to do your best to get in there and get the message out because can't keep going down the same strategy we went down. Kamala Harris barely lost that race. And it would have taken just stripping away some of those people. I don't know if Kamala Harris, if she had gone on Joe Rogan this late in the game, if it would have worked, because I also think that it's possible that Joe Rogan may have been maybe a little bit harsher towards Kamala Harris because he wanted Donald Trump to win. But I think if she had way more time and it was done earlier, that may have made a difference, but who knows? But I don't know, Lana. We'll need to figure it out. But all right, so we're going to get to the Celtics game. We got less than 30 minutes to go. Lana, anything else you'd like to add?
No, go Celtics.
Let's go Celtics. Great seeing you, Lana. And Lana, are you going to do your show Thursday night?
I think so. It's track season, so my schedule's all crazy, but I think that I am.
Did you already set up the...
I didn't set it up, but I do have clips in my phone so that I do set up. So maybe tomorrow I'll set up.
That means something's going on.
Setting up is the, once you
start
the show.
So if you do, you can check out Lana's show at 7:00 live Eastern Standard Time on Thursday night. Go to her page. You can find the link to her show in the description down below. If you're watching our show now, please like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Do that with Lana's show as well. You can both follow us on Twitter and you can follow me on TikTok, which I've been doing a lot of lives lately. I'll tell you, Lana, it's kind of, I got to admit, it's blown up a little bit.
I'm sure it has. Like,
I'm getting subscriptions. I'm getting people sending me, you're my favorite live on TikTok. And
that's awesome.
And I mean, just some of the battles that I'm having some of these MAGA people. I had one last night and it started off really bad and I started calming her down And I started leading her down a little bit of a path to do some research. And I finally got her to admit that she liked me. I said, you got to tell me you like me. I want you to admit you like me. And it's actually been a lot of fun. It's exhausting, but
yeah.
You could be on it for a long, and I don't even notice it, Lana. I mean, it goes by like this, but it's been going on. I've been getting fucking gifts and all that stuff. I'm like,
oh my God, that's amazing. I mean, hey, you may have found your niche there.
And also it is good because I am telling people about this show, and I'm getting people to come here and subscribe and do that too. So it's a nice little extra thing. But Lana, as always, it's wonderful to see you, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Yes,
go Celtics. Have a great night.
Thank you, baby Juggernaut.
Yeah, baby J, great to see you. And who's EA? I have not seen EA before, and it is great to see you in here. I'm not really sure what is it. What does that say, Lana? Can you see?
You're asking me? It looks like European money. I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't know what that is. EA, if you're still here, and if you got 20 seconds to tell us what that is.
Hold on. Yeah, that's
Have you ever seen that?
It looks like a V3 upside down. That's what it looks like, a V and a 3, but
it looks like a lady. Wait.
I was talking about the thing. Looks like
I'm talking about the little emoji or whatever it is that's in there. What the fuck is that?
They're waving.
Hi, EA. It's great to see you, and thank you for coming in. And baby J, as always, we love you, and we'll see you again soon.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.